Hey wrap friends, I'm working on getting the TBA wrap install done, and so here's your little teaser. One of the big complaints that I get is how do you wrap the top of these tunnels, because they are really a pain with all these little indentations, divots out of them. So I'm just going to go over quick a couple things to help you wrap the top of these. So to start out with wrapping these, I wrap from one section towards the back, and then I wrap the other section towards the front, and work all the vinyl into these little indentations on the back of the tunnel as I go. So I start by lining up. I got a straight edge right here, so I go ahead, I line it up, I lay it down, and then I pick the middle rib and I work from that section back. And then I'm gonna show you how I've done that one back there. This is me working forward. So I've got a wrap glove on. You can use like little cotton kids stretch gloves, work great too. All this does is it basically makes my hand really nice and smooth to go over and doesn't stick as I touch the vinyl, to be able to push it in with my thumb. Okay, so I'm just gonna push in. And you can see that works really good. Now you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time getting these corners in, and the reason for that is the vinyl is just not that flexible. You can try and heat it into submission. Unfortunately, this is a cast vinyl, or a calendared vinyl, and not a cast vinyl, and so calendared vinyl doesn't like to retain a new shape. It likes to hold its old shape, and so it will probably just pop right back out no matter how much you heat it up. So finish that. I'm going to go on towards the next section, but you can see right here I've got some excess because I pushed all that down. It's doing that ripple effect. It's wanting to take it back up, and I'm getting this. So what do you do when you get this? Well, don't push it forward. If you push it forward, you're feeding more material towards the front of the wrap that you haven't put down yet, and if you do that, you're going to end up with wrinkles. Instead, what you want to do is you actually want to distribute that vinyl over the area. So I'm going to distribute it backwards. Okay, this wrap does get a little bit of a trim on the top, but so, and you see as I distribute it backwards, I'm not feeding everything towards the front. Now, at risk of wrecking this wrap, because it's Brian and he loves me and I'll reprint him a new piece anyways, I'm going to show you real quick what happens if you don't, if you continue to feed it forward. Okay, so now I've started to get some buildup here, and if I can even do it, if I continue to feed it forward, see what happens. I'm starting to get a wrinkle right there, and that will end up being a nasty wrinkle. I don't want that. If I went down, it would be a crease. I'd have to get the heat gun out to fix it. It would be a giant mess. Instead, let's bring it back up a little bit, and let's go back to where I was. So we've got that wrinkle starting again, but instead of feeding it forward, I'm just working it in and actually feeding it towards the back. And that's going to help me have a nice flat. And it'll be even more evident when I get to this very last one. This one usually gives me a lot of grief. On the last little bit, it wants to wrinkle up. Okay, see how I pull, if I have something that's not going down the way I want it to, I just pull it back up and do it again. Vinyl is not those stickers that we used when we were 5. Okay, oh my gosh, look at that. That's like crazy. It's all wrinkled up there. What am I gonna do? Well, first off, I'm gonna deal with a little bit here, but I want to get this flat again. So I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna give myself a little flat. Look, I can go from there. Now I can deal with this back here. Okay, I'm gonna feed it towards the back. If I need to use, I use a little bit of my thumbnail to help get some of those places where it wants to start creasing, and I start feeding it towards the back, and no problems. Okay, same thing on this side. If I got a little bit of a crease, I use my thumbnail to kind of push that crease in, feeding it towards the back and not the front. Now I can take my squeegee And we can go and finish that up. Last step will be to grab my knife. Guess where I left it? On top of the tunnel. Okay, make that last little trim. When you're doing a wrap, one of these click blade knives, this is not a cheap one. You can get cheap ones at Dollar Store, Harbor Freight, all kinds of different places for not too much money. And they are great because you always have a sharp blade. You just click your blade off. And you have a perfectly sharp blade to make your cut. Okay, around and trim that excess out. There you go, top of a tunnel.